We're talking SmackDown getting less than 1 million views for SmackDown. That's unheard of. No casual fans. Unrivaled, they know who their fan is, and they're marketing to them. The problem is they're marketing to the TikTok fan. They're marketing to the fans that just watch shorts all day. Not games. They're marketing to the fans that'll just tune in and catch the highlight.
Marketing's current play, players sprinting, quizzing, dancing, lounging, yet the cold reality, it's ineffective. Nobody scrolling's gonna halt thinking, oh, that's Sophie Cunningham. Watch this, the average fan hasn't a clue who these players are, and algorithms show a known face far too late. They've already moved on.
To watch the game. There's just not enough of them to care about the league. There's just not enough. Whether it's NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, WWE, there's a reason why grabbing the casual fan is so important. Diehards, they're going to stay along no matter what. It's the casual fans that put them over.
Unrivaled debut soon, hype abounds. Months spent building anticipation, yet ESPN ignores it, Fox Sports ignores it, CBS, USA Today, and front office sports offer radio silence. Only content creators generate buzz, revealing their true audience. They're not reaching sports fans.
Targeted marketing campaigns. We have players running down a hallway, answering questions of the day. Thing number one, nobody will scroll this, and this is going to sound harsh. Nobody will scroll this and know who they are. What up, Ray? Salute. Nobody.
Whatever, salute nobody. This is the marketing death spiral. Watch those clips he's showing, home videos, blooper reels, or NB music in the gym, favorite couch moments. Not a single piece of content designed to make someone say, I need to watch these games. Compare this to how the NFL markets itself. Every commercial is about the competition, the rivalry, the stakes. The NBA sells star power and highlight plays. Even the NHL focuses on speed and physicality. Unrivaled is selling behind the scenes. Lifestyle content to people who already follow these players on social media. They're preaching to a congregation of 46,000 people when they need millions to make this financial.
I mean, what up, Ray? Salute. Who wants to watch this stuff? Oh, dude. We got Natasha Cloud. Folks, this clip right here is like the only basketball clip that we're seeing here. There's one more else in there. A little home video for the cousins. But this just isn't even hype. This
quick update for the family, but frankly this is alarming now. We must discuss Project B because the situation is bizarre. Sophie Cunningham announced on December 5th that Caitlin Clark isn't participating in Project B. On that very day, Project B declares a new player acquisition, then total radio silence for almost a month. No further player announcements, no progress updates, simply scheduled updates that abruptly ceased. What actually occurred? Did funding vanish when investors understood Clark wasn't involved? Were there financial obligations?
A little bit fast with it, right? They were releasing players, right? Aneka, Alyssa, Jonquil Jones, Sophie Cunningham, Just Josiate, Leonie Phoebish. And then since December 5th, Project B has been absolutely quiet. Is this a sham league? I'm not going to go say that yet. But is this just another group of investors, similar to Unrivaled to an extent, that have been lied to, saying, oh yeah, invest, we're going to go and we're going to get Caitlin Clark. And then as soon as they realize Caitlin Clark's not coming, they maybe not necessarily take their money back. They just aren't as adamant to.
You're asking people to risk fortunes on a new 3-on-3 league. Your business model likely hinges on projections. Caitlin Clark's viewership equals X, sponsorship revenue equals Y, break even by season 2. Then Clark declines. Instantly, projections crumble. Investors committing $50 million contingent on landing her withdraw funds. Sponsors seeking association with women's basketball's biggest star renegotiate or abandon deals completely. This is
some of the stipulations that, yeah, we'll give you X amount if you get this player. We'll give you an additional X amount if you get this player. If this player doesn't come, then you don't get this amount, right? Well, Caitlin Clark didn't show up. So the projected, let's just say the projected $50 million that would have come in if Caitlin Clark did agree, well, that's not coming in now.
Let's revisit Unrivaled briefly, because there's a pattern. Last season he watched Rose games, Lunar Owls games, Vinyl BC, the Laces. He was genuinely invested this year. He's only tuning in for one team, the Mist, because they have the fever players people actually care about. That's not a coincidence. That's the entire problem with women's basketball leagues trying to exist outside the WNBA structure without the star power of Clark Reese Boston. And maybe a handful of others casual fans have no entry point. The diehards will watch regardless, but diehards don't generate the revenue needed to sustain a professional league.
That's going on within the league. That's the facts. The highlight crew is who they market to as well. Adam Silver admits it. The NBA, it's not even, don't even watch full games anymore. It's a highlight-driven league now. It's a highlight-driven league now. People don't even got to watch full games. They got to watch highlights. Yeah, that's why people say Adam Silver has kind of suffered within the NBA. But let's look at Unrivaled a little bit.
Here's the comparison that matters. He mentions WB getting less than 1 million viewers for SmackDown despite having massive TV deals. That's what happens when you lose casual fans. You survive on contracts negotiated during better times, but the actual audience erodes. The WNBA is experiencing this right now. Regular season games outside of fever matchups are pulling 200,000 to 400,000 viewers. That's not a sustainable audience for a professional sports league. Unrivaled is launching into this exact same environment, except they don't have the institutional backing of the NBA or existing TV contracts to fall back on. Their starting from zero with a marketing strategy aimed at people who watch 15-second TikToks, not full back.
When it comes with a business, right, you kind of want to know who you're marketing to. You want to know who your audience is. And the problem that Unrivaled has actually is that they know who they want their audience to be. They are marketing to them. There's just not enough of them to keep this league afloat. There's just not enough of them.
Strategy, objective, craft a compelling, original, and insightful examination. Engagement, prioritize capturing and maintaining audience interest. Length, preserve the original text's precise word count, do not shorten it. Meaning, uphold the original script's fundamental meaning without alteration. Specific edit, replace every instance of shadur, shador, and shedor with shedur throughout the text. Text to rewrite. There's just not enough of them. The casual fan problem is everything. Every major sports league understands this. The NFL doesn't market primarily to people who watch every snap of every game. They market to people who watch the Super Bowl and maybe a few primetime matchups. The NBA doesn't rely on fans who study advanced metrics. They rely on people who tune in for Lakers Warriors because they recognize LeBron and Steph. Diehard fans provide the baseline, casual fans provide the growth and the revenue that makes expansion possible. Unrivaled has the formula backwards. They're creating content for the 46,000 WNBA fans who already follow every player's Instagram story instead of content.
Dancing in a hallway. The question that I have is, what of these clips is going to get a casual fan to want to wait for it, watch the games? Of all of these clips that we've seen so far, what of these make you want to actually spend your time and watch the...
We're about to get a real-world test of whether women's basketball can sustain a second professional league in the United States. Unrivaled has serious financial backing. We're talking about investors who have put real money into this. They've secured a roster of legitimate WNBA talent. They've got production capabilities and a streaming platform ready to go. On paper, everything is in place. But if their marketing strategy is fundamentally aimed at the wrong audience, none of that matters. You can have the best product in the world, but if you're advertising it to people who don't buy products, you're gonna fail. And here's where it gets uncomfortable for everyone involved. If Unrivaled struggles with viewership, it's going to reinforce every negative narrative about women's sports. The critics will say, see, there's no audience for this. Sponsors will become more cautious about investing in women's basketball ventures. Future leagues will struggle to secure funding. But the real issue isn't whether there's an audience for women's basketball. The WNBA proved there is when Caitlin Clark drove ratings to historic levels. The issue is whether there's an audience for women's basketball. Without the stars, casual fans recognize marketed through social media content that appeals to existing fans. Rather than recruiting new ones, Project B going silent tells us something important about the business reality here. These leagues aren't passion projects run by people who love basketball. and don't care about profits. Their businesses that need to generate returns for investors. When the math stops working, the money stops flowing. If Project B was built on financial projections that required Caitlin Clark, and she's not coming, those projections are now fiction. Investors don't keep funding businesses based on fictional projections. They renegotiate terms, they reduce commitments, or they walk away entirely. The scheduled post strategy reveals how this was supposed to work. They had a rollout plan, announce players at regular intervals, build momentum, create buzz leading up to launch December 3rd. December 6th, building towards something bigger. Then Sophie Cunningham drops the Clark news on December 5th, and suddenly the scheduled posts stop. That's not a coincidence, that's a business plan falling apart in real time. Someone behind the scenes realized the foundation their entire league was built on just crumbled, and they needed to figure out what comes next. Now, let's talk about what Unrivaled is actually selling, because this matters. They're not selling basketball, they're selling acts, they're selling personality. They're selling the chance to feel connected to players through behind-the-scenes content, and there is a market for that. But it's a small market. It's the market that already follows these players on Instagram, already watches their TikToks, already engages with their content. Unrivaled is trying to monetize an audience that's already getting this content for free on social media. Why would someone pay for a streaming service or sit through a full game when they can get the personality content they actually want in 30-second clips on their phone? Compare this to how the WNBA marketed Caitlin Clark. They didn't lead with her personality or her off-court cunt. They led with her game. The logo threes, the no-look passes, the competitiveness, the records she was breaking. They sold basketball first, and the personality content came secondary. That's how you convert casual fans into viewer. You show them something they can't get anywhere else, elite athletic performance. Then once they're invested in watching the games, they'll seek out the personality content on their own. Unrivaled has this completely backward. They're leading with content that's freely available on social media and hoping people will then decide to watch full games. But that's not how viewer behavior works. People don't watch behind-the-scenes content and then think, now I want to invest 3 hours of my week watching game. They watch games because the competition is compelling, and then they seek out behind-the-scenes content to learn more about players they've become invested in through watching them compete. The WWE comparison he makes is perfect because it illustrates exactly what happens when you lose casual fans. WWE still has a passionate fan base. They still sell out arenas, they still have diehard fans who watch every week. But SmackDown pulling under 1 million viewers is a disaster for a brand that size, because it means they've lost the casual audience that used to tune in to see what Stone Cold or The Rock were doing. Those casual fans generated the revenue that allowed WWE to expand, to sign massive TV deals, to become a global brand. Without them, you're just serving a niche audience. That's Unrivaled future. If they don't figure out how to market beyond their existing fan base, they'll have game, they'll have diehard fans watching, they might even survive for a few seasons on investor money. But they won't grow, they won't become profitable. And eventually, the investors will want to know why they're funding a league that serves 50,000 people instead of. So the question becomes, is it too late to fix this? They launch in less than a week. Their marketing strategy is set. Their content is produced. Can they pivot midstream and start creating content that actually appeals to casual sports fan, or are they locked into this approach, hoping that somehow the 46,000 diehard fans will be enough to sustain a professional league? Because here's the reality, they won't be. The math doesn't work. You cannot run a professional basketball league on fit. You need hundreds of thousands of viewers per game to make the advertising revenue work. You need millions of social media impressions to justify sponsor investment. You need casual fans showing up because they're bored on a Tuesday night, and they see a game is on, not because they're diehard followers of every player's Instagram story. And this matters beyond just Unrivaled. This is a test case for whether women's basketball can support multiple professional leagues in the United States. If Unrivaled fails because of poor marketing strategy, that's fixable. The next league can learn from their mistakes. But if Unrivaled fails and the narrative becomes there's just no audience for this, the damage is every future attempt to build women's basketball leagues. The stakes here are bigger than one 3-on-3 league. This is about whether women's basketball can grow beyond the WNBA structure, or whether the WNBA remains the only viable option for professional players. So watch what happens over the next few weeks. Watch the viewership numbers when they're released. Watch whether mainstream sports media starts covering Unrivaled, or whether it remains confined to content creators and niche basketball sites. Watch whether casual sports fans even know these games are happening, because that will tell us everything about whether this marketing strategy was brilliant or disastrous. My prediction: they're going to struggle. They're going to get their 50-0 diehards watching, and they're going to wonder why they can't break through to a larger audience. And the answer will be staring them in the face. You marketed to people who don't watch full games, and you're surprised they're not watching full games. What do you think? Is Unrivaled's marketing strategy going to work, or are they setting themselves up for failure by targeting the wrong audience? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is going to be